Alright, so this is my second time recording this video. Hi, I'm Austin, and I'm sure, as you can tell from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about ice, not the cool shit you put in your drink. Now, before you make any rash judgments and go to the comments or you decide what I'm going to say, I want you to really just listen to me. Just listen. And if I'm wrong, you get your chance in the comment section to tell me that I'm wrong, because that's what's supposed to be great about America, that we're able to have a discussion like this. So let me go ahead and ask the big boy question: what is ice?
Tear gas, flashbangs, and pepper balls have erupted in Engage in heated clashes with police. A day of reckoning and retribution is coming for the North Star State.
Well, ICE stands for the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They're a post-9/11 agency that was formed because of 9/11, and this light keeps fucking up. It was formed by merging two different parts, the INS, or the Immigration and Nationalization Services. Their original purpose was to enforce immigration and custom violations and to investigate and aid in national security threats. Now, like I said, ICE was supposed to be a post-9/11 thing, and I think we could all get behind what that was supposed to be about, right? Save hearts and minds kind of shit. But a thing that people don't actually realize is that ICE is made up of two different sectors, because that's what they're supposed to do, but this is what they actually do today. And this is the thing too. There's no distinction between the two that's really made. I mean, of course we have titles and what they're supposed to be, but they don't seem to fit into that. They don't stay in their own lane. For example, the HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, they're supposed to investigate stuff like child trafficking, drug smuggling, financial crimes, human trafficking, shit like that. These guys are supposed to work with cops and federal officers and prosecutors and the courts. These are the guys that people talk about when they're like, oh, ICE stops crime. You know, ICE stops crime. That's what they're talking about. And then there's the ERO, or Enforcement and Removal Operations. They make arrests for civil immigration violations. They detain suspects. They transfer suspects to detention centers. They operate deportation. But what's the real difference here? Well, and they might operate, or they might say that they operate within the same scope of law enforcement, but they really don't. The ERO definitely does not. What's the difference here, though? Well, the ERO doesn't require criminal charges to make a detainment. So they don't need you to be a criminal to take you in. There's no indictment, no trial, no jury of peers, and no need to prove your innocence without a reasonable doubt.
Shame on you.
Listen, have y'all not learned from the past couple of days? Have you not learned?
Learned what? What's our lesson here? What do you want us to learn?
Following federal agents.
Give me my phone back.
But how do they get away with it? I mean, that's probably the biggest question, right? I mean, shit, I even had that question before I started making this video. Well, ICE operates using administrative law, not criminal law. It's a lower burden of proof. Hearsay in the court is allowed, so you could say like, oh, he said this, and you can't really object because, you know, it's your word versus his. Rules around evidence are very relaxed, and most importantly, the judges are not actual judges and magistrates. They're DOJ employees. This is essentially like a department of government investigating themselves and deciding that they didn't do anything wrong. Oh, there's also no constitutional right to a lawyer in immigration court, or that if that judge doesn't speak Spanish or they just pretend like they don't, you can get fucked. Hold on. Now that we know what they don't need, let's go ahead and talk about what they do need. Let's talk about what ICE can and cannot do. They are not a police force.
For what?
Stop fucking following us! You are impeding operations! This is the United States federal
I live
government!
over here. I gotta get to my house.
This is your warning!
Gotta get to
All
my
right?
house.
Go home to your kids!
Go to church.
Go to home to your kids! This is your last warning!
I serve the
will
Lord.
arrest you!
Go to church. Let the people.
I guarantee you're not gonna like the outcome. Go home to your children. It's Sunday.
Yeah, go exactly. Let people go to
You did
church.
not learn from what just happened? Go home. To
Learn
your
what?
kids.
ICE is an immigration agency. They are not general law enforcement. They cannot stop vehicles. The only way they could stop a vehicle is if they have reasonable suspicion of a immigration violation, or they have an official warrant. Now, when I say an official warrant, I mean a judicial warrant. That's a very important distinction that we'll go ahead and get into very, very shortly here. If they do detain you, because they cannot arrest you, they can only detain you, they must have reasonable suspicion of undocumentation or, again, a valid immigrant warrant signed by a judge. They also, just like any other government employee and any other person living in the US, they do not have the right to just use their guns. They can only draw their guns if they believe that there is an immediate threat to their life. ICE has no authority over US citizens, and they have no authority to tell you to stop recording. Remember, if someone asks you to stop recording, that means that they're doing something they're not supposed to. ICE cannot stop, detain, or threaten US born citizens or US nationals. This isn't me making it up. This is according to the DHS policy and our Fourth Amendment right. Now, the Fourth Amendment is something that's going to come up throughout this video. Now, that might be what they need.
Take a look at this video shared with Fox 9. It shows ICE detaining a man at a gas station. This is in St. Paul, not Minneapolis. And you can see those agents carrying him away by his arms and legs, and you can hear the bystanders protesting his detainment.
Now, ICE might need a warrant, and they might need all this pretty stuff, and they might not be able to stop American-born citizens. But that's not reality. Usually, they use administrative warrants signed by ICE officials. Again, these officials are not elected judges or magistrates, and judicial warrants are not the same as administrative warrants. Administrative warrants do not give them the right to enter your home. It does not give them the right to enter a private business. It does not give them the right to enter a school.
Hundreds of armed federal agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters, breached fences and busted doors in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building on the city's south side. They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children, some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming. They looked very distraught. I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too. Had them zip tied to each other. One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here.
It does not authorize entry under the Fourth Amendment. Matter of fact, courts have already ruled that ICE has broken the Fourth Amendment by forcibly entering abodes and by forcibly entering homes without official judge-signed warrants. Now, this is a quote from the CRS report. Quote, administrative warrants are neither reviewed nor issued by a judge or magistrate, and therefore do not confer the same authority as judicially approved arrest warrants. An example of this happening in real time is in 2025, the ICE raids of the Columbia University dorms. The HSI, or Homeland Security Investigations, got a judicial warrant under false pretenses to gain access to student dorms. They lied to get this warrant because they would not have been able to get it under any other means. And if you're still on ICE's side, I mean, they're breaking the Constitution. What else do you need? But I'll continue. I digress. Because remember how I said that ICE needs a warrant to arrest you? Well, like I said, ICE needs a warrant to arrest you. But like I said, reality isn't always reality. The reality that we live by is not always the reality that they abide by. ICE can arrest you without a warrant in practice.
Hey, you want to say something to the stream? I don't know what the fuck, dude. We were just standing there. We were talking to that dude, and, he didn't say a single thing to anyone. He was just quiet. I don't know what the he's 16 years old. 16. So they just arrested a 16-year-old? Yeah, it's my buddy. What? What was he doing? He didn't say a single word. He was just standing. No, I'm just here asking people questions. Where was he standing about? Check out his shirt. I was standing right there. Oh, yeah, that's not a real problem.
On paper, ICE does need that judicial warrant, or at the very least, probable cause for removal. But that's just the problem. They use administrative warrants, and that's if they have access to one at all. And detention isn't prison, or so they say. ICE detention centers are technically not prisons, because prisons are run pretty stingently. They have a hierarchy of control to make sure shit runs smoothly.
Court order reaffirms our authority as members of Congress. So I'm going to go inside and try to take a look. I'll let you know what I see afterwards. I'm Congressman Jimmy Gomez of the 34th Congressional District. We just received a court order.
Okay, thank you. Stand by. Austin?
Yep.
Come on in.
All right. I just got out of the detention facility here in downtown LA. It's known as B18. They let me in and they follow the court order. There's 110 people in there. People shouldn't be kept more than 12 hours, but there have been some people in here that have been kept up to 72 hours. They have different holding tanks. Shouldn't have more than 50 people. This facility shouldn't be allowed to hold people more than 12 hours because they don't have a working kitchen. They provide chips and cookies and frozen burritos. If somebody needs to see a doctor or medical personnel, they have to get sent somewhere else. So this facility is not meant to hold people more than 12 hours, and they're going against that. But this is the first step of accountability. So I'm going to report that back to Congress, and then we're going to do some follow-up steps to find out if there's other information that we can get. But this is the first step of accountability over this administration.
And to make sure people's rights aren't being violated. But ICE detention centers are privately owned. That means they're privately owned, privately funded, and because you're not under arrest, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Detainees can be held indefinitely without a trial. Detainees are transferred without notice, which means that they're often moved away from family that could support them and help them and provide the paperwork they need to get out of that situation, and as well as lawyers. Because if you can't communicate with your lawyer, if your lawyer doesn't know where you're at, and if they move you out of an area that your lawyer cannot practice in, you're lost. Now, if this sounds far-fetched and overstretching, remember, the ACLU formed a lawsuit in 2025. The MacArthur Justice Center sued ICE, claiming that detainees were denied legal counsel, food, and medical supplies. And this isn't new. We've heard about this. It's just that these guys have seen it. ICE blocked visits by Congress members, faith leaders, and journalists, which, by the way, is illegal, but you know what? Our government says that they support them 100%, so should we, right? Legal representatives described these environments as, I think, quote, not fit for a dog. They described it as torturous and inhumane and stated their Fifth Amendment rights to due process was being violated by these facilities. I mean, shit, even a federal judge of the DOJ deemed that you can't just do a snap investigation and visit. No, you have to let them know 7 days beforehand if you want to enter into their facility. Think about that. You got a lawyer, so you got an investigation, whatever that is. They got 7 days to clear your mistreated ass out of there, so that way they could do whatever they want and get away with it. That's crazy. They blocked Congress members from going in and investigating. That means that stops all real-time investigations. That's concerning. ICE, I've heard this 1,000 times, ICE can only detain non-US citizens. If you're a US citizen, you're safe, right? Right? Well, this is the thing. This is how U.S. citizens get detained officially. Database problems. This is how citizens get detained. ICE relies heavily on old DHS databases, state records, CBP, or border protection databases, fingerprint matches. And because ICE just kind of gets to do whatever they want to do, once you're flagged, the burden of proof is now on you. It's not on them to prove without a reasonable doubt that you are not a U.S. citizen. It is up to you to get on your knees and beg Daddy Trump that to tell you that you are a U.S. citizen. Please reinstate your passport. All that terrible shit. Even then, proof of U.S. citizenship is treated as a claim, not a fact. Their justification for this is because if I give you an ID, that ID could be faked. I want you to think about that. And like I said, detention can maintain indefinitely if investigations drag on. whatever that means. Now this might sound crazy, but let's go ahead and look at some people who had their right to travel revoked. Let's go ahead and look at Alexis Rose, a TikTok trans activist who claims that her travel rights were revoked by having her passport disabled, I guess is the best way to say it. I'm not sure.
Someone or something in the Trump administration wiped my existence from the US passport database, that I no longer met the requirements for the global entry program. Now, the requirements are not having been charged with a felony, having valid identification, and one of the last things on the eligibility list was not under investigation for terrorism.
Now, like she said, there's a couple things that could stop, that could get someone's passport revoked. Felonies, federal arrest warrants, fraud, national security threats. Now, that's the one we're going to focus on right now, because as we've seen in other videos, like from the TikTokers, Marcy's traveling, passport revoked, and Porker GA, passport revoked. And by the way, these are just 3 of 19 people that I was able to find. That's just what I was able to find. There's more out there, I'm sure. Because the only way that you can find out if your passport is revoked is by traveling. Or trying to vote, specifically in the upcoming, you know, I ain't gonna talk about. Now, why are these so important? Why are having these passports revoked so important that I would bring it up in a video about ICE? Well, specifically, it's because about the people that back ICE. Allegedly, there are claims of internal memo bouncing around there by someone on the inside. This memo was between Pam Bondi of the DOJ, Department of Justice, and Kash Patel of the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations. That talks about labeling citizens as American extremists. No requirement of violence, no requirement of previous charges or future charges. All that there is oppose ICE, pro-immigration or migration, radical gender ideology, which is what I'm assuming she would fit under, or Alexis Rose character, anti-Americanism, anti-capitalist, or anti-Christian. That's fucking insane. Especially the last one, given that our closest ally right now as an American is Israel, and they don't really care too much for Christians, so that's weird. Now, this memo is alleged. It has not been confirmed, but I mean, if someone was gonna do something like this, they wouldn't announce it. They'd do it quietly and hope that you wouldn't notice. Alright, sorry about that. Oh shit, I forgot to put the light back. That lighting looks terrible. Slide in here, get into the captain's cockpit, you know. Now, here's the thing. I don't remember what I was really talking about. I'm sure I was just rambling. We were talking about databases, Alexis Rose. If you disagree with me still, and you've made it this far, I actually want to commend you. That means you've been very open-minded. Alright, just making sure my audio levels are good. I'm actually quite proud of you. What I've said has not convinced you. Let's go ahead and talk about recent events. Separate from the multiple people coming forward with sexual assault claims and the multiple ICE agents being charged and released from their job for sexual assault claims, specifically just straight up rape. There have been 9 shootings as of the making of this video that I know of since September of 2025. And these shootings aren't anything new. I mean, between 2007 and 2015, Border Patrol was under investigation for constantly stepping in front of cars to justify use of deadly force. That sound familiar? But we can also go ahead and talk about the 2 people that were shot in Portland, Oregon, just this past week. From the making of this video, the investigation is being led by the FBI, and the DHS has already come out with a statement saying that these people had warrants on them, that they were drug dealers and sex traffickers and all around bad muchachos. Unfortunately, we don't have any video evidence of this one going down. I'm sure if we did, be telling a different story, but they're calling police saying that they were shot and that that was my cat's tail, by the way. Look, here she is. Look at her. Oh, she's a pretty good looking at. Now, of course, the DHS is no stranger to putting out false information, and I want you to remember what the DHS said and then listen to this phone call that these two suspects who were shot by the FBI made.
It looks like Kohler saying that he was shot twice by ICE, and his wife was shot as well. Your top group is going to be Ops 1, Engine 7 with Medic 314 and Medic 321 with police en route. This will be a shooting at the Bria Apartments, 10 Northeast 146 Avenue. We have a male who was shot twice in the arm and his wife who was shot in the chest.
Not even just that, but supposedly the two FBI agents were caught that were investigating this incident. They were caught on scene taking selfies, and when they were caught, this is what unfolded.
They're taking a selfie. Wow. Wow. Hey, can I get in the selfie? I want to get in the pic too. I'll be back here like this. I know, I just wanted to get in the photo. Can I get in the photo with you? No? I see it. Okay. Okay. And when you were taking that photo, was it like, no? It looked like you guys were like positioning yourselves for a photo. Okay. Yeah. All four of you guys talking on your phone? I'm sorry, what was that? You will be arrested if you come back on the gravel. Okay. Do that? Not on the gravel. They own the gravel. I'm gonna be arrested if I touch the gravel. See how that changed pretty quickly? Went from safe to... There we go.
Now, if that's not enough to make you think that this... Well, instead, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to bring up the case of Rene Good. I believe that she was 37 years old, a mother of 3, and her last words were, "I'm not mad at you." She spoke those words to Jonathan Ross, ICE agent, whose name we have because of the good people of the internet. We don't have that name because it was on public record like it would be for police officers or literally any kind of public representative. We have that name because of the good people of the government. Because you yourself, you cannot find his name because if something happened to you, you cannot privately sue him. That's bullshit. Now, of course, this is another one of the opinion things. So instead of telling you what my opinion is, I'm going to show you what the DHS said.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
Now, that of course is what Noam says happened. Stuck in the snow, tried to ram them, and whatever. And there are two main views that I want you to pay attention to. One of them is not from body cam footage. One of these views is from the guy's phone, the shooter's phone. Now, I don't know about you, I two shootouts. Right, there are very high tension situations. As a matter of fact, I am a gun owner myself. And as a gun owner, I sold myself to 3 stringent rules. Use every single last option available for peace. Use violence as a last resort. And if I'm going to use violence, make sure I look at my target and what's beyond my target. This man, I do not believe has any kind of training like that. And of course, that's just my personal belief. You can pull something completely different from this video, but then I'll put them side by side so that way to watch as them unfold chronologically. Please rewind and watch as much as you need.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead. No! No! Shit! Shit! Oh my God!
Can I go check a pulse?
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
I don't care.
We understand. We got EMS coming. I get it. Just give us a second.
We have medics on scene. We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor. You caught butter in the face. You killed my neighbor. How do you show up to work every day? How the do you do this every day?
Now, of course, even if you disagree. Now, the only thing that I could see here is that there is a case to be made that she drove away, and we don't know what's really going inside the agent's head, the ICE agent's head. He really could have felt in danger. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that he did not exhaust every single last one of his methods for peace. That being said, nothing that happened here is what Miss Nome of Homeland Security said happened, right? They were not stuck. Matter of fact, they pulled in front of her and behind her and boxed her in and kept her there. They reached inside her car to try to open it to make an arrest that is not legal for them to make, and then they shot her. This is a mother of three, and I've seen people say that, well, she was a bad person. She got her kids taken away for putting cigarettes out in them. There's only one tweet that's ever been information spread on, and that tweet was disproven. It's just misinformation, that tweet is. She very much did have custody of her children. Matter of fact, she just dropped them off at school. Not even that very morning. I mean, shit, in the video you could see that she had stuffed animals in her glove compartment. I keep trying to put this video back because as I'm making it, more shit keeps coming out. For example, Arizona Congresswoman, she got shot at. She got shot at by ICE. She went there on I think she was out on lunch with her team. And of course, she wanted to see what the what was. She announced herself as a congresswoman. They did not care. They pepper sprayed her. She did not back down like a fucking G. And they shot at her. If that's how they treat Congress people, how do you think they treat the people that they're actually after? And how do you think they're going to treat you?
Aus nächster Nähe mit einem nicht tödlichen Geschoss im Gesicht getroffen und verlor dabei dauerhaft das Augenlicht auf einem Auge. ÄrztInnen entfernten nach einer 6-stündigen Operation Splitter aus Plastik, Glas und Metall aus seinem Gesicht.
Now, in the wake of Rene Good's killing in Minnesota, a lot has unfolded, and it seems like the only people that are inciting violence, that I can see at least, are, I mean, they're honestly plants. I mean, this guy, I swear, I can't find it now, but there's a video of him sitting in like a fucking Abrams tank saying that we're gonna get the fucking liberals or some shit like that. I don't know. I'll try to find it. If I can't, you know, don't take my word for it.
Last Saturday night, I went down to the ICE facility and captured video of these MAGA influencers or counter demonstrators purposefully antagonizing the main protesters around the facility. What they'll do is they'll send one or two of their little club to get in the face and instigate a reaction from some of the protesters so that they can use their bear spray or other weapons that they have in order to defend themselves. But I want to point out something. Carrying bear spray like that is a crime. In fact, that bear spray canister itself is about 7 or 8 ounces. You're not allowed to have those chemicals in a container more than 4 ounces in this city. He's clearly intending to use it. And when he sees me, what does he do? He goes to start putting it away, watch.
I mean, even just within the city, they're still trying to arrest, intimidate, and assault American-born citizens. Like I said before, this is something they do not have the right to do.
The storm is here! When we come, one, we go all! No one can stop what is coming! Get here, guys. Please win Minnesota. These people are terrorists. And all you liberal commie put your hands to yourself or you're gonna get hurt today, alright? We executed one of you yesterday. We executed one of you yesterday.
Now, of course, I could continue to ramble on, but instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you some names, right? Silverio Gonzalez, Franklin Park, Illinois, a 38-year-old man, undocumented citizen, just got done dropping his children off from school. The DHS claimed that he was shot dead because he tried to run over agents with his car. When video was released of the incident, that is not what happened at all. He reversed to get away from scary men that do not have the authority to arrest him, and they shot him dead. Marimar Martinez, Chicago, Illinois.
Department lawyers moving to dismiss the indictment against Martinez and a second person, Anthony Ruiz, that charged them with ramming Customs and Border Patrol agents' vehicles October 4th near 39th and Kedzie. The encounter ending with an agent shooting Martinez 5 times.
These agents jumped out and shot Miss Martinez, a U.S. citizen whose only crime was warning her fellow community members that ICE was in the neighborhood.
Defense attorneys argue the agent who shot Martinez swerved and hit her vehicle. Under questioning earlier this month, that 20-year CBP veteran acknowledged he drove his damaged vehicle to Maine, where he's based, before defense attorneys could examine it. And he was confronted with group text messages that appear to show him bragging about the shooting, writing at one point, "I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys."
He's going to pay for those shots. They were not good shots. You will see eventually that was a bad shoot. It was a violation of CBP's use of force policy.
Despite charges being dismissed, DHS doubling down, writing in a statement, Border Patrol law enforcement officers were ambushed by domestic terrorists, adding, "Our law enforcement shows incredible restraint and prudence in their exercise of force."
And I say arrest and not detain because that's what they're doing. They're arresting people. And I'm not being smug and sly anymore. It just honestly makes me very, very upset. Thiago Martinez, who again? Apparently tried to use his car as a weapon. And then, of course, Rene Good. And, of course, the red thread between all of these is that they all claim that, you know, they had to shoot them because they were using their cars as weapons. Which we already know there's a precedent for them lying. And I've showed you now that the government has no problem lying to you about what happened, about what you can see with your eyes. Even if you and me disagree, that like I say it was not needful force, you say it was needful force. Our elected officials are telling us something that our eyes are not seeing. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you with a quote from the great George Orwell. "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command." His heart sank as he thought of the enormous power arrayed against him. The ease with which any party intellectual would overthrow him in a debate, the subtle arguments which he would not be able to understand, much less answer. And yet, he was in the right, and they were in the wrong, and he was in the right. Now, I want to remind you to please be safe out there. Whether you disagree with me or agree with me, please think with your own brain. Be an independent. My name is Austin from Texas. Please be safe out there. I love you. Goodbye.